If you played The Last of Us Part 2, you know the feeling. Your fingers are flying across the controller, your heart is pounding, and you are completely locked in. You're clearing rooms, upgrading your weapons, and hunting down the next objective marker. It's an absolute masterpiece of an action game. But then you watch the HBO series, and if you're like a lot of gamers on the internet, you might have felt a little let down. You complained that the show was too fast. You said it felt drawn out. You wondered, where are all the infected? Where are the epic boss fights? Why are we spending so much time just talking? But hold that thought. I'm Professor Danny Hop with Page to Premiere, and today we are addressing the elephant in the room. If you think this show is too slow, I'm here to tell you that your brain is trapped in gamer mode. And hey, speaking of controllers, use your thumb below to give me a like if you would like to see more content like this. And subscribe to the channel right now so you never miss a deep dive into how our favorite stories transform from page to pixel to premiere. Here is the preview of what you're unlocking today. When you have a controller in your hand, progress means winning the match. But in the Season 2 finale, Convergence, the incredible creators at PlayStation, Naughty Dog, and HBO did something brilliant. They took away our controllers to show us a terrifying truth that gamers completely missed. What felt like a heroic quest when you were pressing the buttons was actually Ellie completely losing her humanity. Let's put down the controllers, look at the script, and see what you completely missed. In a standard video game, you are the main character, and the entire world revolves around you. Other characters are just to give you ammo, open doors, or help you beat the level. When you play The Last of Us Part 2, Jesse feels like the ultimate co-op partner. He rides in boats with you, he shoots enemies with you, and he helps you track your targets. To a gamer, Jesse is just a useful teammate on your quest for revenge. But HBO brings something completely different to the table. Real-world consequences. And Season 2 and the Season 2 finale, Convergence, the script stops treating Jesse like an NPC and starts treating him like a human being. And his crucial role in this episode is so quiet. It is incredibly easy for gamers to completely overlook it. The episode sets up a massive fork in the road. They look out across the water and see the aquarium. To a gamer, a giant flashing light goes off in your head. There it is, the next level. The boss fight is over there. But Jesse doesn't care about leveling up. Jesse stands for community. He cares about people. He looks at Ellie and says, Tommy is trapped at the bookstore. And Dina is sick. We have to go back and save them. But Ellie's playing a totally different game. She has a solo quest mindset. She doesn't care about the team. She only cares about her own personal mission. She looks at the aquarium and says, I've come too far to turn back now. She chooses her revenge over saving Tommy and over protecting her family. And if you want proof of how selfish Ellie is being, the writer hid a massive, unspoken clue earlier in the episode that a lot of kids, even adults, completely missed. There's a quiet moment where alcohol is offered, and Dina immediately rejects it. Why? Because she knows the unspoken truth. Dina is pregnant. Jesse knows it. Dina knows it. And they are silently working together to protect that future baby. Think about how wild that is. Jesse doesn't even know he is the biological father. Or does he? But he is doing everything he can to put others first and protect his new life. Meanwhile, Ellie is supposed to be Dina's partner and play the father figure, but she is so hung up on her angry quest that she doesn't even notice the unspoken bond between her friends. Jesse is fighting for his community. Ellie is only fighting for herself. Gamers thought going to the aquarium was a heroic choice for Ellie, but the HBO script exposed the truth, and it wasn't a heroic choice at all. It was the moment. Ellie abandoned her team, ignored her family, and walked straight into a trap of her own making. All right, let's look at Act 2, the omissions and the additions. This is where a lot of gamers threw their hands up in the air and said, why did they change the story? In the video game, you fight a lot of guard dogs. It's a gameplay mechanic. You track their scent lines, you avoid them, or you eliminate them so they don't blow your cover. One of those dogs is named Alice. And in the game, Ellie has a brutal confrontation with Alice at the aquarium. Smash cut to a clip from HBO's finale, Convergence. Shows Ellie exploring the quiet, eerie, shadowed halls of the live-action aquarium. It's tense and it's cinematic. But there is no dog barking, no combat, just a heavy atmosphere. And in the HBO finale, Convergence, Alice the dog is completely missing from the script. Cut, deleted, gone. Why would the writers do that? Is it because they were getting lazy or trying to drag things out? No, it's because live action storytelling hits different. Think about your favorite games. When you defeat an enemy dog or guard, you forget about it within 5 seconds because your brain is focused on your health bar and finding more loot. It's just pixels. But on HBO's prestige drama, you aren't playing. You're witnessing if the showrunners made us watch a realistic live action animal get hurt right before the heavy, tragic climax. With Owen and Mel, it wouldn't feel like an exciting action level. It would cross the lines into pure, exhausting shock value. The writers cut the dog because they wanted you focused on the human tragedy of two humans fighting against Ellie to live. And Ellie, out of fear of her own life, kills them. To make matters worse, Ellie realizes Mel is pregnant under the lab coat, and the baby does not make it. It was not a graphic distraction. It was a human scenario that really adds to the emotional pull of the show. But while the writers subtracted the dog, they added something massive that wasn't in the final video game. Ellie getting captured on the Seraphite island. This was actually a concept Neil Druckmann cut from the original game drafts, but he and Craig Mazin brought it back for the TV script. And for a gamer, this addition is a massive clue. When I say the world is burning down around her, I mean it was literally. The Washington Liberation Front, or the WLF military, shout out to the Great Northwest, has launched a massive all-out invasion on the Seraphite Island. The WLF initially promised more freedom than the military regimen they replaced. They have eventually adopted oppressive tactics to maintain their authority. The Seraphite are a fanatical, primitive, religious cult that serves as a major antagonistic faction in Seattle during season 2. In this series, there are explosions rocking the ground, buildings collapsing in flames, and hundreds of soldiers fighting for their lives in the dark. Think about how a teenager plays a battle royale game. When the map is exploding, the storm is closing in, and a literal war is happening all around you. Your only goal is to survive and get to the safe zone right away. But look at Ellie, looking out at the city from the top of a building. She completely ignores the escape routes. She runs into the fire. She uses the chaos of people dying around her, not to save herself, but as a distraction to sneak closer to the aquarium. This is exactly how she is trapped. She isn't trapped behind locked doors or iron bars. She is trapped by her own obsession. Gamers complain that the show's pacing feels dragged out, but the writers are actually showing us a massive, terrifying character arc.
Character arc is the emotional journey a protagonist undergoes, like Joel in The Last of Us, but finding his humanity again through his Ellie.
Ellie goes through this inner struggle to survive because she wanted a future. In the season 2 finale, she doesn't care about the future at all. She is so tilted by revenge that she has lost her mind, trapped in a loop where the only thing that matters is making Abby pay. The show isn't slow. It's taking the time to show you a girl who has become a prisoner of her own anger through necessary pacing and flashbacks that have purpose. These flashbacks and pacing are tools that are used in season 2 to provide emotional and narrative tools to challenge the audience's perspective and humanize characters who initially seemed like villains. Now we get to the absolute biggest complaint from gamers, the ending of season 2. A lot of people threw their controllers at the TV and screamed, "Are you kidding me? A cliffhanger? It just ends right there?" If you think this ending was lazy, you missed the ultimate visual mirror. The writers and directors didn't just end the episode, they perfectly flipped the script on season 1. Joel lied to Ellie to protect his own feelings, and Ellie turned her back on him because the trust was broken. Now look at the finale of season 2. Ellie lied to Dina, dragged her into a war zone, and ruined their family just to chase her revenge. When Dina turns her back on Ellie, in that dressing room, the show is telling us without a single word, Ellie has officially become Joel.
He says to her on the porch, "I hope that one day you do a little better than me." And she doesn't.
I felt that while I was watching it. She tried to play the hero, but she ended up losing the person she loved the most. And then comes the transition that made gamers lose their minds. The show doesn't stay with Ellie, it cuts completely away and drops us right into Abby's world. To a gamer, this felt like an annoying cliffhanger that dragged out the story. But look at how it happens. Actually, a brilliant storytelling rewind. It's like the show hits the reset button right at the most intense moment, saying, "You think you know what's happening. Now look at it from the other side." It turns the whole story into a narrative mirror with a different point of view. Up until this point, we've been trapped in a dark, hollow room with Ellie, watching her sink deeper into anger. But when the screen goes black and drops us back at Seattle, day 1, the show shatters that mirror and forces us to live those same 3 days through Abby's eyes. Honestly, I can't wait to see season 3. This mirror image parallel, showing two characters living the same story at the same time, drives the purpose of the show forward in 3 powerful ways. The first way, the main character swap. The show gives Abby the same screen time we usually give the hero by showing us Abby's tragic past and her own mission to protect someone. The show proves a tough truth in this world. Everyone is the hero of their own story, and everyone is the villain in someone else's reality. The second way, the pursuit versus the life. This rewind reveals a shocking contrast. While Ellie is on a downward spiral, moving towards darkness to find revenge, Abby is actually on an upward arc. She already got her revenge, and she realized it didn't fix her pain. So now she's trying to find redemption by saving lives. You realize that while Ellie was busy destroying Abby's world, Abby was busy trying to build a better one. The last one, the room versus the open world. This visual parallel is the key. Ellie ends her journey, trapped in a dark, hollow theater, stuck in the past. But Abby's story moves towards the vast, open world to survive in a new reality. It visualizes the difference between holding on to a grudge that keeps you stuck and finds the courage to move forward into a new future. This isn't just a cliffhanger to make you wait for season 3. It's a passing of the torch. While Ellie was busy burning her whole world down and isolating herself, Abby was doing the exact opposite. Abby was learning how to let go of her anger, protect, leave, and look for a new community. By ending the season right here, HBO creators are challenging the audience. They are forcing us to look at the two characters side by side. Ellie has hit rock bottom in the dark, while Abby is literally rowing towards the light. Gamers are mad because they want a final boss fight. They wanted a winner and a loser, but the creators gave us something way deeper. They showed us that the real objective isn't about defeating your enemy. It's about defeating your own hatred. And right now, Abby is winning the fight, and Ellie is losing it. This is where that inner conflict comes into play. Ellie is losing in the dark room. We leave Ellie in a dark, hollow theater. She literally and emotionally is trapped. She's surrounded by shadows because her goal is revenge. And that goal has made her world smaller and smaller until it's just a room full of ghosts. While the gun from Abby goes off, leading us to believe Ellie is dead. The scene suddenly snaps to Abby in day one. The screen literally rewinds with a simple, powerful film cut that drops us into Abby's world. It's a total shock. We go from that dark room to seeing Abby out in the open world, moving forward as a high-ranking soldier for the WLF to handle her own life in Seattle without even knowing that Ellie is out there. So let's pull it all together. When we look at The Last of Us through the lens of the controller, it's easy to get frustrated. It's easy to say the show is too slow or that the ending is just an annoying cliffhanger. But when you break down the script of Convergence, you realize the creators weren't trying to stretch out a video game. They were trying to deconstruct it. They showed us that Jesse's true quest was saving his community, while Ellie's true objective was just a toxic loop of anger. They showed us that surviving a burning war zone on the Seraphite island wasn't a victory. It was proof that Ellie was completely lost. And they used that final visual mirror to show us in the final episode that vengeance is a trap that leaves everyone empty. It turns Ellie's victory into a panicked, tragic accident and breaks the hero image by forcing her to face the collateral damage she's caused of the loss of not only one baby, but two babies. Two? Let me explain. The physical loss of Mel's baby and the emotional loss of Dina's baby because she pushed Dina away to pursue her own obsession of revenge. But the deconstruction happens when we see Abby. By the end of the season, the show reveals that revenge is a dead end. Abby already got what Ellie wants, and it brought her no peace. When we look at the hero versus the soldier, while Ellie's becoming a monster to get her way, Abby is actually trying to stop being a monster, winning the inner battle. The show proves the real objective isn't about defeating your enemy, it's about defeating your own hatred. And right now, Abby is winning that fight by choosing to protect others, while Ellie is losing it by staying stuck in the past. Before we jump into our final challenge, we have to give a massive shout out to PlayStation, Naughty Dog, and the brilliant writers and creators at HBO. It takes serious guts to take one of the biggest gaming franchises in history and refuse to just make a live action playthrough. They trusted us to put down our controllers and use our heads and hearts instead of our thumbs. I'm challenging every gamer and every viewer watching this video to see this series different and be excited about season 3. Although I agree, it is taking too long, it will be worth the wait. Go back and rewatch season 2 finale, Convergence, or the whole season for that matter. So it doesn't feel like we have to wait so long. But this time, turn off your gamer brain. Stop looking for the next boss fight. Stop counting the infected and stop waiting for a high score. Watch it as a human being. Look for the unspoken clues, like Dina and Jesse rejecting the alcohol because they both realize the realization of that unspoken truth of the pregnancy. Look at the framing of the camera when the characters turn their backs, when Ellie turns her back on her friends to chase Abby, or when Abby turns her back on the WLF to save Leave. The camera shows us exactly what they are leaving behind. To really understand this, you have to see the story for what it is, not what you want it to be. I think that's why I love this season so much. I was seeing these people as human beings for the first time, not just characters I controlled with a joystick. So I'm asking the gamers, set that joystick aside for a minute. Stop thinking about the levels or the right way the story should go. When you let go of what you think should happen, you finally see the truth that this isn't a game about winning. It's a story about the cost of never letting go. Did this perspective change how you see Ellie's journey? Drop a comment below and let me know. When season 3 drops us completely into Abby's world, are you going to stay stuck in gamer mode, wanting revenge? Or are you ready to see this story from the other side, the other perspective? And if you love breaking down how our favorite stories transform from, in this case, to page, to video game pixels, to Premiere, make sure you use your thumbs to hit those buttons below so you can like and subscribe to this channel. I'm Professor Danny Hop, and I'll see you on the next level. Peace.